It finally happened. The White House press corps has turned on Joe Biden. All that and more on today's episode. Let's talk about that.
Instead of focusing on winning arguments, we're teaching the basic fundamentals of sales and marketing and how we can use them to win in the world of politics, teaching you how to meet people where they're at on the issues they care about. Welcome to the Brian Nichols Show.
Well, hey there, folks. Brian Nichols here on the Brian Nichols Show. Thank you for joining us on, of course, a fun-filled episode. I am, as always, your humble host, joining you live from our BNC studios here in lovely Eastern Indiana. And today, yes, we are talking all things Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and all of a sudden, the White House press corps seemingly finding their testicular fortitude to discuss that and more on today's episode. Returning, Kenny Cody. Welcome back to the Brian Nichols Show.
Right, good to see you, brother. Ready to talk it up.
All right, brother. Yeah, let's have some fun here. And I have actually, for the audience today, we're going to go through, we have 3 clips. The first of the clips is a longer clip, about 3 minutes and 35 seconds. But basically, the walls are closing in, right? How many times did we hear that expression with Trump during the 4 years of his administration? But now it's actually kind of happening for Joe Biden and the Hunter Biden saga that we heard with, the quid pro quo. And this time, direct leaks coming out from whistleblowers, actually, to the IRS saying that not only were they stifled, but then a lot of the documents being brought out with regards to the Hunter Biden case showing basically Joe Biden lied, that he actually was privy to not only Hunter's business dealings, but his name was used as a talking point in deals and in negotiations in order to get things done. So Hunter saying that I've got my dad sitting next to me. Kenny, this is like impeachable stuff here, no?
I wish the Republicans define it like that. We've already seen McCarthy and a couple others kind of dismiss impeachment. I hope that changes within the next few weeks, especially seeing these quotes from President Biden. But I mean, it's just ridiculous,
sure,
man. I mean, these shams that we keep seeing by our federal judiciary, we keep seeing by states' judiciary, we keep seeing so many corruptions through the federal government judiciary, and for some reason, Republicans need to step it up. They've got to find a way to interfere. They got to find a way to stand up for what's right. And I hope that these quotes that we're getting through these leaked documents, these leaked text messages through WhatsApp and things like that, I really hope that we're able to do something about it. But it was really shocking after seeing President Biden himself actually say that I never had anything to do with my son's business dealings, and now to see that was absolutely untrue, even if it was during 2017, because I've seen the argument that it was when he was a private citizen. He said, I have nothing to do with it. And everybody knows the reason he has power in any sort of Hunter's business dealings is because he was the former vice president. If he was using any of those powers whatsoever, whether he's a private citizen, the president, the vice president, or the senator, that should be impeachable stuff. And I'm glad that has come to the revelation through these text messages leaks.
Yeah, and now the White House press corps, Kenny, actually waking up. They had a nice long nap here over the past few years, but I guess someone behind the scenes said, go take him out. It's time. Gavin Newsom, I don't know. He looks like the Batman villain, but here is KGP, the was it Karine G something? She's the White House press secretary. She's going through and she's actually being grilled for the first time, actually, from the White House press corps. Let's go ahead and listen in, Kenny. It's a little bit longer of a video, about 3 minutes or so, but then let's get our thoughts afterwards. Stand by.
I'm wondering if you could take us into the thinking and decision-making of why the president decided to.
I'm just not going to get into personal family discussion. As you know, Hunter is his son. I'm just not going to get into it.
If Hunter Biden wasn't the president's son, would he have invited someone who had just reached a plea agreement with federal prosecutors?
Well, a couple of things. Again, that's his son. He's a family member. It is not uncommon for family members to attend events at the White House. You could look at past presidents. I'm sure you have. So that is not uncommon. As it relates to anything related to Hunter, I'm just not going to respond to it.
I mean, just Kenny, really quick, one comment I have to make. He's his son. Why does that mean the president doesn't have to respond to that?
It makes it worse, does it not? Like,
right.
if it's his son, like, that's more reason that he shouldn't be corrupting the federal government and protecting this dude and having preferential treatment by the DOJ. It should be worse. Like, that shouldn't be an explanation to say we don't have to answer this, we don't have to talk about this. That all that means is that he used his power and his influence to protect his son. That's the only thing that proves it. It's not an excuse not to answer the question.
She's so bad at this. Let's see what else she has to say.
No, I just called in somebody. Go ahead.
So Kirby wouldn't answer James's question, though. Are you going to answer the question? It's not a reasonable question to ask whether the President of the United States was involved, as this message seems to suggest.
She's so annoyed.
Some sort of coercive conversation for business dealings by his son. Is that something, if he wasn't, then maybe you should tell us.
So here's the thing, and I appreciate the question. I believe my colleague at the White House Counsel has answered this question already, has dealt with this, has made it very clear. I just don't have anything to share outside of what my colleagues have shared, and so I would refer you to him and the DOJ. Just not going to comment from here.
Text message.
I will. What I can tell you is I know that my colleague has dealt with this. He addressed this at the White House Counsel. I just don't have anything else to share. I just answered the question. I just answered the question.
Yes or no, was the president involved in the shakedown?
Stephen, I just answered the question.
She acts like a scolding teacher.
It's not up to you.
And she didn't answer the question. Like you explained away something that is just completely corrupt. I mean, you're saying that my people at the DOJ, oh, you mean the people that gave preferential treatment to Hunter Biden want to answer for this? They're literally at fault, and you want them to answer for it instead of you? I would be annoyed, too, if I was working for a tyrant.
Oh, 100%. Now, this video goes on for a bit longer. But here, let's see what else, if there's anything more of substance. I think this is just more of her saying, they've answered this, asked and answered, more or less.
What your colleague said from the White House Counsel, so we have it.
I would refer you to them, and they will share their statement with you.
Your statements from that podium.
Oh, this is a good one, yeah.
That the president stands by his comment from the 2020 campaign that he never once discussed his son's overseas business dealings with his son. And you stood at that podium and you reaffirmed that. Do you stand by your reaffirmation?
What I will say is nothing has changed. Nothing has changed, and I will leave it there. Anything else, I will refer you to the White House Counsel.
This is not a change.
I just answered the question. You just asked me, does my statement change? I just told you nothing has changed. That's answering the question. Go ahead.
Think about that, Kenny. Nothing has changed. So what's the truth? I mean, she's basically caught right between a rock and a hard place. I understand she has a terrible job, and she is terrible at doing said job. But like, I mean, I know we can't really call her like on perjury. We can't call Joe Biden on perjury because there's stuff said during a campaign. But like, again, it just like he's caught here in this very obvious lie, and I don't know how they're trying to weasel their way out of it with lawyer speak.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the frustration is I think she knows she's caught. She knows she said a statement beforehand where she defends the president. And she said that he has nothing to do with his business dealings. She's just trying to stand by that statement. And I guess her interpretation is the text is a lie by Hunter. I get that's what the next step is going to be in my prediction is that Hunter was like lying, that he was actually sitting next to the president. And he was trying to kind of force his power through text message. And Joe Biden wasn't actually there. He was just lying, make Hunter look bad, make him the
scapegoat. This is where it gets funny, Kenny, is that they actually were able to corroborate. There's a picture of Hunter with his dad in his dad's Corvette, yeah, driving around literally like minutes after that WhatsApp text was sent. Yeah. So it actually looks like, yeah, he was with his dad.
Which I don't know if he was out of his mind at this time or, senile or geriatric at the time. Anyway, man, I didn't know he knew where he's at, let alone what car he was in. So I'm wondering, I mean, I have so many questions. Like, for one, why does this woman still have a job? Like, it's unbelievable that Jim Pataki, whatever her name was, makes Kareem Pearson makes her Jim Pataki like, oh God, Sean. I mean, I don't.
Jen Psaki, yeah.
Yeah, Jen Psaki makes her look like, I mean, just a master at media communication. Like it is unbelievable how bad this woman is at her job. And she gets so angry and it places the blame on the press corps, which personally, great. Like I want to see the press corps and these media shills fussed out about more than anybody. But my problem is these I'll tell you why she's getting so angry too. And it's kind of what you mentioned earlier is that she's been treated so perfectly by the press corps for such a long time. Besides Peter Ducey from Fox News, these people have been asking her these softball questions because her boss is pitiful. I mean, I would see him walking down the street and would have pity on him, let alone him being the president of the United States. And now she's actually getting tough questions that she has no idea how to handle it. I'm not going to be surprised. We saw several press secretary changes throughout the Trump presidency with Sean Spicer, with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and then with Kayleigh McEnany. So I'm trying to pronounce her last name, McCanny. I don't know how to pronounce it.
McEnany, something like that. Yeah,
I'm an English major. Can you tell? But I hope that if I was a Democrat, I would go, please get rid of this person. I don't know. She can't handle these tough questions. We're in a tough situation now. The press corps turn her back. Let's get somebody else so she can take a job at MSNBC or CNN.
Unless it's all part of the plan. That's opening a whole other can of worms. But let's wrap up her response here.
Go ahead, Stephen. I'm calling on your colleague right now. Go ahead.
Oh, this is good.
To follow up on my colleague, is there anything?
I love how she's like, I'm done with you, Stephen. And then she goes to the other lady, and the other lady's like, actually, I'm going to pick up literally right where he was left off. And you can just see in her face. She's
that
so
face tells so many, that face and those eyes tell so many stories. She looks like Lori Lightfoot right there.
Her soul, like Beetlejuice. Her soul is leaving her body at this very moment.
There, man. I feel her. I don't want to be in her position either.
Oh, jeez.
Say with regard to this text message and what the president's son was alleging, was the president there or not?
I would refer you to my colleagues at the White House Counsel. They have addressed this, and I refer you to them. Go ahead.
Have you spoken to the president about this? Have you asked him whether he was there with his son on July 30th?
This is not a conversation that I've had with the president. Again, I would refer you to the White House Counsel.
Do you plan to have that conversation with the president?
No.
Did the president speak with the attorney general at all?
I cannot say if the president had a conversation with the attorney general last night. What I can refer you to is the White House Counsel.
The dinner that Merrick Garland was at with Hunter Biden, by the way, just to add that, which that itself is just like all sorts of conflict of interest.
Everybody kissing his tail, and him going around shaking hands and kissing babies and everything else. These people think he's a hero. I mean, these people think that he is just. It's like royalty. I mean, it's similar to like the British monarchy, like whatever shoulders they need to bump. And I'll give Hunter this. I mean, he is the most successful con man that I have ever seen in politics. He has so many different professions. He's an artist. He's a
which obviously is a front for like a Ponzi scheme. If we're being
I mean, he's a connoisseur of adult entertainment. He's an artist. He's an author. He's an activist. He's an oil tycoon. Like, this dude is he's skyrocketing. If I'm Hunter Biden, I'm on top of the world. I'm going to run for Congress is what I would do if I was Hunter Biden. He is absolutely untouchable. And my thing is Brian, why would he try to regret anything he's done? Like, nobody's held him accountable for anything he's done his entire life. Like, there's an article come out today. I forgot who it was by, but that guy writing how caring that Joe Biden was. He is just being a good dad. He's just being a good family member, and not forgetting.
I'm proud of my son. My son.
Treating him like he's a 17-year-old child in high school. Right? This dude is 9 years out from Social Security, and we're treating him like he is in high school in a drama class. Like, it's insane. We're treating Joe Biden like he is the next coming of Harry Truman. And then we're treating Hunter Biden as if he is a prepubescent toddler or a 17-year-old trying to get over a marijuana addiction or something. I don't know what we're doing. Like, it's so funny to me, and I can't wait to see the sky fall out. But I doubt this lasts more than a week, unfortunately.
Oh, we'll continue.
Counsel's office, as it relates to the allegations, they've already addressed this. This is something for them to deal with. I refer to the Department of Justice on anything else if you don't want to speak to the White House Counsel's office.
And that's where we're going to leave that video. So, Kenny, obviously, like, I just like I'm so I don't know if I am shocked, right, that we are at a point now where the White House press corps, we've seen not the press corps, but rather the press secretary just blatantly lie. And now finally the press corps actually standing up. What do you think this is going to do long-term for the relationship between the Biden administration and the press going forward? Do you think this is going to turn into an absolute, daggers out, turning on Joe Biden from the press, or do you think there might be some supporters that are still out there that will try to sing his praises?
Unfortunately, Brian, I have no faith in the press corps. I have no faith in mainstream media. I have no faith in media in general. And that being from a columnist who writes for a couple of decent publications, I still have no faith in them. I mean, Peter Doocy and those who are allowed in there from conservative websites or conservative organizations like Newsmax, OAN, I'm sure they'll try to continue to have to ask quite tough questions. But the only reason that they're asking these questions is to give press coverage to it for a week and say, oh, yeah, we did cover that. You're saying we didn't cover it. We did. We asked tough questions, and then they're going to move right past it here in a couple of weeks. I mean, unless this just comes out that Biden is going to be actually impeached and that the impeachment process follows through and all that kind of stuff, or they have to give attention to it, they're not going to give any more attention to it than is needed. They're not going to give any more attention to it that's being asked of them. And unfortunately, Republicans are too weak to continue on something. Democrats are, of course, going to support their guy. And independents are going to forgive and forget about this very quickly. So as I hate to say it, and I hate to be the pessimist that I always am on this show, it seems like, as with any other podcast during the modern era of Republican politics, I don't think this is going to last long. You're not going to see these same press corps meetings every single time. I wish it were true, and I wish I had more faith that actual journalism and actual, these sort of meet the press like journalists, we're going to press the president, we're going to press the press secretary. I wish that would happen, but unfortunately, I just don't see it.
Hey there, folks. Brian here. So for whatever reason, as we were wrapping up our conversation here with Kenny and I, my microphone died. And Kenny is just so good at knowing me, he was able to actually respond to not being able to hear me for whatever reason. So unfortunately, the end of the episode ended up being a little disjointed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play the responses that Kenny would have to what he thought I was saying, which he actually did a good job, but also including those audio clips. And I'll go ahead and wrap things up as we get towards the end of the episode with my actual outro. See you there.
I mean, I just wish that the press was expected to do their job, and the press secretaries, the spokesmen from all these departments. I mean, the expectation that is a lot on them is to be truthful with the American people and to be truthful with voters. And for some reason that is lost. I don't really understand if Joe Biden was completely unaware of that his son was doing these business dealings, was having these secret Burisma meetings, was having these oil company meetings, whatever, then prove it. Like, you're seeing, like you said, with him being in the same car as his son, with him being traced back to the same location the WhatsApp text message was coming from. Let's see proof. Don't just stand abide and allow for the press corps to run all over you, to allow the press corps to embarrass you and to make you look like you're lying. Like, if you're lying, at least make it don't look like you're lying. Like, it's pretty easy. Like, if there's one thing about politics, is it's easy to lie, and at least in general, right? So if that's true, they're doing a very, very, very bad job of it in this regard. For some reason, we are in a period now where, a part of being a press, a part of running for politics, a part of campaigning is kind of stretching the truth as much as you can stretch it out. And it doesn't seem like they've done a very good job in doing this. I think it's very unfortunate that we're looking at the DOJ. They're like, you got to ask my friends, that guy, I forget his name, and Pearson are both saying, you need to ask the DOJ. Listen for the DOJ's statement. Wait for the DOJ's position. Wait for the Department of Justice. Wait for the Attorney General's office. Whatever. These are the people who are lying to us. Like, the entire accusation from the right or any sources that are leaking the Hunter Biden story are that the DOJ gave preferential treatment to the president's son. So why are we to expect the DOJ to be truthful with us? I mean, now we have examples of the DOJ through everything they're doing with Donald Trump right now. And people really expect us to care about documents being in Mar-a-Lago while this is going on. We're seeing the New York case of Alvin Bragg. We're seeing the Georgia case. We're seeing all these cases where they're attacking a political opponent. And the very moment that we're seeing this corruption in the roots of our legal system and the corruption in the roots of our federal system, we're actually seeing this. And then we're expected to care about things that are so controversial, or at least the press wants them to be controversial, while the president's press corps, the president's own press corps that has been good to him his entire presidency, and then his employees that speak on behalf of him, behalf of his departments and everything, cannot answer simple questions about the corruption that is going on at the very top. What are we supposed to do as Americans? Like, I hope independents have at least somewhat of an understanding that we have got to judge this dude. Like, Talk about the October surprise. I didn't expect the October surprise to come in June of 2023, but this is the most controversial. Screw the call with Zelensky and screw January 6th. We're really going to say that this is not worse. A vice president, a former senator, and now a current president is using his power overseas in a country that is currently at war right now. We're not supposed to question how the military-industrial complex has impact on the Russian-Ukrainian war. I mean, this is so deep, man. I don't know if I can dig a hole this far. This is so deep. I really hope the American people come to realize it, man. I doubt it they will, but I hope they do. I mean, it's insane. I mean, any attack on the DOJ, any attack on the federal government, any criticism, make sure, I hope this message gets through to voters. Any criticism that you have of a government office, a federal government department, those who are, we are paying with our taxpayer dollars every single day of our careers, every single penny that you have is going to fund these people, giving and paying their salaries. And you as the voter, you as the citizen can anything that they're doing. You cannot say, hey, this is a little bit corrupt. You're protecting the president's son is a little bit too much. What do you have to say for that? And their response is, we are the Department of Justice, and any criticism of us is an attack on democracy. I'm so sick of democracy being the argument for these people. Democracy doesn't equal corruption. And I don't know how many times that we have to say that, but democracy does not equal federal government corruption, does not equal this idea that you have to protect everybody who is in any family, the Biden family, the Clinton family, the Bush family, whatever. Democracy does not mean that once you get in power, you can use and not be criticized by the American people who pay your money, who pay your salary. I pay it, Brian pays it, everybody who's watching this podcast in some way pays their salaries. And if we cannot criticize the Department of Justice, the IRS, the ATF, the NSA, or any other governmental department, the FBI and the CIA, whatever else, if we cannot do that, we truly have lost our minds. We have lost any power that we have in terms of say, in terms of input. The only thing that we can do now is vote to get these people out of office, to vote to get these people out of federal government departments so we can actually have an impact. And if this isn't enough of an example to prove that we have got to have a change at the top, that we cannot criticize federal government departments, I don't know what else is. I'm glad Garland got up there and got criticized because he deserves it. I mean, my final thoughts, Brian, is the people just need to pay more attention to what their federal governments are telling them. When the federal government is telling you to your face that we cannot, for some reason, question the federal government department and any federal government department and what they're doing in their jobs, and they have to get press conferences telling people to have some sort. My dog was in the background. Apologize for that. But if the American people cannot trust their Department of Justice to not give preferential treatment to a person because of their family, they're protecting the son of the president of the United States for things that are more corrupt than anything that President Trump did, that anything Richard Nixon did, that anything Bill Clinton did. If they're protecting this man solely because he's the current sitting president and they don't want the guy who's going to come in and is they need to hold these people accountable. If they don't want these government departments being abused, if they don't want federal government departments being utilized and weaponized against the United States and weaponized against American citizens, then they need to vote these people out in general. Like, that is my final word. If you don't want this stuff to happen, if you want the press to cover it more often than they are now, then vote them out. Hey, well, I'll give it Trump one thing in their lives. They actually ask tough questions to a President Trump or to a Republican president. They're not asking honest questions in a Democrat president until a controversy comes up. So for once, I'm going to ask your viewers, please vote these people out. I don't care who you vote for, whether it's RFK in the Democratic primary or Trump or DeSantis whenever the Republican nomination is over. Vote these people out so these people can actually be honest. Make sure, or Michael Scott in 2024. That's perfectly fine as well. Or anybody else. Or it does not matter who you vote for. Just do not vote for this current administration because they are lying to your face. And when you question them, they are saying that you are destroying democracy. And please remember, I'm glad I got that quote. Democracy does not equal corruption. You cannot be corrupt and expect that you're not going to get questioned. And that's all the Democrats currently define democracy as, is that it's okay when we do corruption. It's not okay when Republicans or libertarians do it. So keep that in mind in 2024.
All right, folks, that's going to wrap up my conversation with Kenny Cody. And I apologize for the audio issues we had there with my mic dying. Hopefully got things all figured out and fixed going forward. But Hopefully the disjointedness of the end of the episode didn't ruin too much there in terms of the audio/listener experience. But otherwise, please go ahead and obviously give us some love here at the Brian Nichols Show for having able to still complete the episode. I'm very impressed with Kenny actually being able to kind of know what I was saying, I guess by reading my lips or just knowing me. So that's great, I guess, that we actually were able to have something of substance, and Kenny actually did a good job with doing final thoughts and stuff. So with that, going to go ahead and give a quick outro here, and I mentioned the Michael Scott 2024 shirt on the show. At least I thought I did. Kenny went ahead and gave some love to the Michael Scott 2024 shirt. I mentioned how on the episode, again, it had recorded me, that if you want to go ahead and get your own Michael Scott 2024 shirt, head over to briannicholsshow.com/shop, where you can grab the shirt, and also make sure you use code TBNS at checkout for 15% off your order. And I also like to point out that the shirt has Michael Scott's 40-day plan, 40 days, 40 steps, and then we're back on track. So yes, that's to all you Office fans out there here in the Brian Nichols Show audience. And if you want to go ahead and continue the conversation, go ahead and follow me on social media, Twitter and Facebook at B Nichols Liberty, and you can go ahead and follow Kenny at Kenny Cody TN. I will also include all of Kenny's links here in the show notes. And also, folks, if you could do me a favor, go ahead and give us some love. If you're joining us here on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button and hit that little notification bell so you don't miss a single time we go live. Also, hit the like button, because that actually helps us out more than you would know. And by the way, if you are not a big fan of the YouTubes, well, no worries. We are also over on Rumble and over on Sovereign Media, which is Ben Swan's entity. Big fan of Sovereign. Sovereign, if you are joining us there on Sovereign, you're actually getting today's episode before anybody else as a Sovereign exclusive. So go ahead, subscribe to Sovereign, and also support independent media that's not going to go ahead and censor the truth that we bring to you here on the Brian Nichols Show. So with that being said, thank you, folks. Oh, and one more thing. If you are watching us on the YouTubes and you enjoyed the episode, or watching us on the video version of the show, wherever it may be, and you didn't know, we have a podcast version of the show. So head over to your favorite podcast catcher, YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever it is you get your RSS feeds delivered. Just go ahead, hit that subscribe button. And if you really want to help support the show, go ahead and download all of the unplayed episodes. We have over 735 episodes here at the Brian Nichols Show, which will leave you educated, enlightened, and informed. So go ahead, do that, and you, I promise, will not regret it. Actually, I think you'll very much appreciate it. So there, I will wrap up there. Brian Nichols signing off here on the Brian Nichols Show for the one and only Kenny Cody. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Brian Nichols Show. Find more episodes at briannicholsshow.com.